So in the last video, I mentioned waiting on some information for a couple different decks, including the Blue Eyes deck, of course. And the information that I wanted for the other deck hadn't dropped yet, and since I was making that video, as soon as I get done uploading it, the information would come out. And sure enough, I was right. I present to you Dragontail for Yu-Gi-Oh! So, this is the deck that I was waiting on originally for information to drop. And yeah, it dropped literally the day that I uploaded the freaking video. Kind of annoyed. But it is what it is. So, the Dragon Tales are kind of weird. And I'm not sure how they're going to go. I don't know that they're going to be really all that great. I don't know that they're going to be good as an engine per se, or if they're actually going to be something that you play as a deck itself after the second wave. Because let me tell you, three of each of the main deck cards and three of each of the fusion cards, you're only looking at 6 and 24. Not that many cards at all. But yeah. Anyway, moving on. Dragontail Lucayas. I think that's how you pronounce the name. I'm probably butchering the hell out of it, but yeah. Earth Spellcaster effect, level 4, 1800 attack, 700 defense. Not a bad stat. You can only use each effects once per turn. That's kind of common with these. They all share that. You can only use the first and second effect of each card once per turn, or you can only activate one card with this name once per turn, or something like that. Anyway, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Dragontail monster from your deck to your hand except for another copy of itself. That's pretty standard. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set one Dragontail spell or trap from your deck. Also, that's something that they all kind of share to a certain degree. Dragontail, I'm not even going to try. Water Spellcaster effect, level 5, 1300 attack, 2500 defense, which is kind of lame. I wish it was the other way around, but it's whatever. Of course, you can only use the first and second effect of the card once per turn. During the main phase. During the main phase, meaning both yours and your opponent's. Quick effect, you can discard this card, fusion summon one dragon or spellcaster fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as material. They keep mentioning extra deck, by the way. I'm just kind of curious if they're getting ready to perhaps add another deck of some kind or something. Or if they're going to have some kind of mechanic where fusion monsters go into the main deck. I don't know. It's weird. But it's like, that's the only place where that stuff goes, so why mention it, you know? I don't know. Anyway, second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set one Dragontail spell or trap from your deck. Pretty common. The Dragontail Pan. Wind Dragon effect monster. 2700 attack, 1700 defense, and it's level 7, which is kind of cool. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn, of course. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set one Dragontail spell or trap from your deck, which is, pretty common. Then you can destroy one monster on the field. Kinda neat. If a face-up fusion monster you control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can place this card on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon one non-fusion Dragontail monster from your graveyard. So, it lets you get this one out, which would be a defensive wall. Pretty neat. I'm not even going to try this one I will butcher the hell out of it, but yeah. Fire, Dragon Effect, level 6, 2400, 1000. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, you can set one dragontail spell or trap from your deck. That's common with all of them so far. Then you can destroy one spell or trap on the field. Pretty good. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one spellcaster dragontail monster in your graveyard, place it on the bottom of the deck, place this card on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, add that monster to your hand. So you can technically add the other fusion to your hand, which is a spellcaster. Kind of giving away spoilers here. But you don't really necessarily want to do that all the time. Anyway, the Dragon Fusion. Earth Dragon Fusion Effect. Level 8, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. Standard. One Dragontail monster plus 1 plus monsters from the hand. If this card is fusion summoned, you can target monsters on the field and or in any graveyard up to the number of monsters used as material from the hand. Return them to the return them to the hand, not the graveyard. So this is kind of like Guardian Chimera in a way, and kind of like the Chimera fusion monster, the Illusion fusion monster, Chimera King of the Illusion Beast or something like that. I forget its name off the top of my head. But you get to use monsters from your hand to fuse for it, and however many monsters you use in your hand determines how many cards you get to return to either person's hand, yours or your opponent, or your opponent's. Can't even talk. I can see this being pretty useful. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So, for example, I have a monster with 1800 attack, you have a monster with 1800 attack, I crash into you, I have this card in my graveyard, I get to special summon it. You know, that's kind of neat. Dragontail Gramel, I think. Water Spellcaster Fusion Effect, level 7, 28, 23. One Dragontail monster plus one monster in the hand. When you activate a Dragontail card or effect, quick effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. So, for example, let's see. Yes, that's one. When you go to quick effect, discard this card to fusion summon, you can then quick effect target one card on the field that your opponent controls and destroy it. Pretty good. If 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. Another way to actually get this effect is if you fusion summon, link summon. I would say Z summon, but they don't actually get sent to the graveyard. Synchro, fuse, link, crash. You know, use an effect that sends 2 monsters to the graveyard. Because I don't know if this is a typo, but it doesn't say from the hand or field. It just says sent to the graveyard. So, you know, that means from deck as well. But, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Key 2? I don't know. Dragontail spell card. You want to use 1 card per turn. Add 1 Dragontail monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon 1 Dragon or Spellcaster monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. It's Dragontail Rhoda plus Polly if you're going second and your opponent has a monster. Or if, you're playing against Tier Elements or Labyrinth and they're like, on your turn, I'm going to do something that special summons every card in my deck because reasons. Anyway. Uh, yeah, the other dragontail spell. Fusion summon one dragontail fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, deck, and or field as material. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for, get this, fusion monsters. Go figure. Lots of cards have that restriction. So this is basically, well, this is, Dragontail's branded fusion. Pretty much. Anyway, moving on. Dragontail Horn. Notice that it has the other dragon. It has the, it has this guy on it. Or girl. This creature on it. Yeah. It just has bigger horns now. Anyway, moving on. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn, of course. Target one attack position monster, return it to the hand/extra deck, then you can place one Dragontail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of your deck, then, except for Dragontail Horn, of course, then draw one card. That's fairly useful. And then look at this. It has the other... We have this creature on the thing. So, yeah. Kind of neat. So, let's see. Dragontail Flame. Normal trap card. Target one face-up spell card on the field. Negate its effect until the end of this turn. Then you can place one Dragontail card from your graveyard or banishment on the bottom of the deck, except for Flame. Then draw one card. Pretty good. So, I don't think... that's one of the spellcasts. Actually, yes, it is. That's actually pretty neat. The spell cards actually have the monsters on them, which kind of tells me that there's going to be a couple more spell or trap cards, for these two, which is kind of neat. This one has the level 4 monster on it, and then this one has the level 5. And of course, this one has the level 7, and this one has the level 6. Yeah, level 6. That's actually pretty neat. Yeah, that's Dragon Tales. I think it's going to be a pretty good deck after the second wave. Then it will be able to become its own deck. Until then, I don't know that it's actually going to be that good, because there's not enough cards really for it to be its own deck. Even if you have 3 of each of them, it's just an engine, because you're not going to want to play 3 of each of them. Now, obviously, you're going to want to play probably, 3 of your add Dragontail monster and maybe 3 of your fusion spells. I can see the traps as maybe a 2 of. I don't know about a 3 of, because they're trap cards. Traps are slower than spells, so I don't know. The fusion is probably going to play as a 2 of. This will probably be, I know it's going to be at least a 1 of. Everything's going to be at least a 1 of, and the level 4 is going to be a 3 of. I can see this being a 3, a 2, 2, and 2. I can just see that happening, and then the spell cards are going to be 3, 3, 2, 2, trap, I guess. That's just kind of how I see it happening. I can't say for sure. I don't know what this would actually go with, particularly. I know it'll probably go pretty good with both Branded and Dragon Maids. I will try to make a video showcasing how it actually works with Dragon Maids in the near future, depending on whether or not Omega actually gets the card effects to actually work. As they are right now, the card effects do not work. At the time of recording this, the card effects do not work. Well, okay. I can't say that for all of them, but this one, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a dragontail monster. That does not work on Omega. So, I'm going to give it a couple days and see if it actually works. They're usually pretty good about adding, the monsters and then getting the effects to actually work within a week, anyway. But yeah, that's all I got for you with this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing. Share with your friends. All the YouTube algorithm stuff. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.